You ever pull up to your own lake house after a 6-hour drive, dog puking in the back seat, dreaming of some peace and a cold beer, and the first thing you see is a valet stand on your gravel driveway? Some kid you've never met hands you a claim ticket for your own keys like you're about to check in at the Ritz. Yeah, that happened to me. And no, you're not dreaming, and I hadn't lost my mind though for a second. Standing there in the dust and sun, I actually thought maybe I'd typed the wrong address into my GPS until I looked up and saw my old blue canoe, the one I bought secondhand, and painted myself bolted over the entryway like a trophy at some lakeside restaurant. And the music pulsing out the front door. That was my living room. My living room. There was an actual bellhop, little brass cart, red vest, chewing gum like he was in some TikTok ad asking, checking in for 2 nights, while waving a tablet at me. I'm staring at this kid thinking that's my canoe. That's my porch swing, or, well, where my swing used to be, because now there's a bunch of potted ferns and a craft fair sign that says Lakeside Suites, a community hotel. I'm telling you, you haven't known true rage until you see your mom's refinished farm table, the one she'd rescued from a barn fire, shoved against a wall and covered with rubbery eggs, and a chalkboard menu selling Dockside Benedict. I'm just standing there, mouth open, dog growling behind me, trying to process if I'd slipped into a parallel universe. "Excuse me," I managed to say louder, feeling my face get hot. "I own this house." The bellhop blinks gum, cracking. "You must be with the HOA. Ask. Corley VIP codes are in the back end." I have no idea who Corley is. I only know the usual summer smell, pine and lake water, not industrial lemon cleaner and bacon. 2 women in matching polos are walking a couple upstairs. My staircase, the one with the 3rd step that always creaked when I snuck down for water as a kid. This whole time I'm just repeating myself like I'm trapped in a bad dream. This is my house. I'm not a guest. My name is on the deed. Right then, a woman pops out from behind the hostess stand. Smile stretched so tight it might as well be laminated gold necklace that spells Ammer. "Welcome to the community hotel. What's the name on the reservation?" I tell her reservation. My name is on the deed. She freezes, recovers, and calls me the annual use owner, like I'm just a timeshare tourist, not someone with actual skin in the game. Then she darts off trailing grapefruit lotion, promising to get Corey. That's when I see a stranger grabbing my mom's iron bowl to refill a fruit tray and outback my back deck, the one I never had. Now there's a row of string lights, hotel guests only sign, Adirondack chairs I'd never buy, and a hostess stand where my boot mat used to be. Maple, my dog, gives a low growl, and here comes Corey, bright blazer, shiny hands, smiling like a guy who's memorized a TED Talk. "You must be the owner who's been hard to reach. Congratulations, your home is now the anchor asset of our community experience." I said, "Get out of my house." He just laughs, actually laughs, and launches into a whole pitch about transforming vacation inefficiency into amenity equity. Tells me my property value is going to lift, there's revenue share if I opt into Tier True North, and that they've handled all the code work. I'm so shocked I can't even come up with a comeback until he says sprinkler riser. I'm like, hold up, let's back up a sec. I bought this place free and clear. I pay taxes and insurance and HOA dues for the private road. I come here once a year to breathe, and you are running a hotel in my house. "It's not a hotel," he says, smooth as a snake. "It's a community hospitality amenity. Says the city has a pilot." I say, "The city doesn't have anything inside my walls. Do you know what trespass means?" Now there's a shadow across his face just for a second. He says, "I should have been at the vote documents, give the association authority to reallocate underutilized assets." I'm thinking the only thing underutilized here is your sense. "If you're upset," he says, "compliance will reach out." Then just for kicks lets me know there's a wedding block on my 2nd floor. Maple barks. I start recording on my phone call. The non-emergency sheriff line. "Everybody out now," I tell them. The hostess tries to comp my first-year share. I use my quiet, dangerous voice, the one that means you're about to deal with consequences. While I wait, I walk through my own house like a stranger. They've gutted it, wood stove gone, kitchen turned into open shelving, painted over my niece's growth marks on the pantry, my old quilt refolded on a bed I don't recognize, fake lodge pillows, and framed photos of strangers posing in my canoe. By the time the deputy arrives, names Dax, a small crowd's gathered to watch the circus. Dax walks through the house with me while Corley tries to filibuster. Dax calls his supervisor, then code enforcement wants to know if any of this even has permits. Corley mutters amenity under his breath. I say amenity, my shoes. Code enforcement can't come until tomorrow, but Dax tells the wedding party to find another place to stay. Corley whines about the spirit of community hospitality. Dax says if this structure was entered and altered without owner consent, we're looking at something beyond a disagreement. An older neighbor, Bo, sidles up and says he warned them. This wouldn't end well. They made him take down his shed for being non-conforming. The shed's been there since Reagan was president. Dax clears the building. Out on my porch, guests drag suitcases away. A kid asks his dad why they lost their house. It's complicated, says Dad, which is a lie, but it's the kind we use. On my birdhouse, someone's mounted a camera, like it's theirs. Dax tells me to secure my stuff, maybe change locks. After the crowd leaves, Corley tries one last time, says, I'll look back on this as an overreaction. I tell him he broke into my house, stole my mom's kitchen, and turned it into a buffet line. Amenity, he coughs. I say, you're going to jail, and you'll pay for every spoon. He laughs. Good luck with that. I told him I won't need luck. People assume if you're a once-a-year visitor, you're a once-a-year fighter. Not me. That night, Bo helps me take inventory. I find a binder labeled Lakeside Suites. It's got my address, rate sheets, revenue columns, a blank, under owner consent, except a big green check. I take photos, unplug everything, and read every HOA email from the last year. Hidden in the spam, 6 community activation pilot notices, all vague. The survey, just would you support revenue positive amenities, with no mention of specific lots. Meeting notices weekday afternoons, impossible to attend. The CCNRs, the actual rules, give them power to manage common areas and enforce rules, but nothing about hijacking private homes. I start a list: change locks, demand keys, cease and desist, notify insurance file, a police report check for forged documents. Seems like a lot, Bo says, chewing a stale hotel cookie. It's Tuesday, I say. By Friday, they'll wish it was less. Next morning, 2 contractors show up with boxes of mini shampoos, acting like I'm the one trespassing. I start recording, threaten to call the sheriff again. They back off, but soon the HOA lawyer Nyan shows up. We sit on the porch, my mom's church pew, and I put my phone between us. I lay out my deed, CCNRs, bylaws, county law, trespass, burglary, civil theft statutes, everything. She says the HOA has the right to create amenities and regulate blight. I say, my house is not blighted. It's a vacation home, and my not showing up to board meetings doesn't transfer title. She admits they sent notices, but I point out no specific consent, just generic flyers and unauthorized work. I demand they cease all operations, return keys, codes, do an inventory, and show me permits today, or I'll get a restraining order and treat further entry as criminal. She finally tells the staff to stand down. Maple wags her tail. Bo laughs. You don't shoot for center mass, you shoot for the wallet. Both, I tell him. Then I call Zeke, a lawyer with a reputation for making HOAs cry in court. He jumps in fast: restraining order, discovery, police, consumer protection code violations, the works. I start reporting unlicensed lodging food service without a permit, building violations. It feels weirdly good to finally make noise after years of being told not to. Then I check the county recorder's site and nearly throw up. Someone filed a hospitality easement on my property 2 months ago, supposedly with my signature. It's a forgery, notary and all. I print it, drive to the county office, and they flag it for fraud. Bo comes for the show shaking his head. If they forged your name, that's jail, not politics. I march into the HOA office, demand minutes, notary info board names. The President Harv, nicotine-jawed smug, tries to stonewall me, but I've got a records request typed already. Did you sign for me, I ask. All recordings are public documents, he says, eyes darting. I warn him. Set foot on my property again in your next conversations with law enforcement. Within a day, Zeke's got the TTRO in place. A detective comes, photographs. Everything. Questions me hard, checks the fake notary. Consumer Protection shows up, starts writing violations like she's keeping score. Bo sits with Maple, tells me about his late wife, how the HOA made him repaint his porch after she died, right but heartless. At dawn, I send 3 letters: cease and desist, preserve evidence, notify their insurer. Fire marshal posts an occupancy suspension. Judge grants a restraining order. Detective calls notary book lists my forged signature with Corley as witness. Corley and the notary get arrested. Knox, the contractor, goes down for unlicensed work. Warrants hit the HOA server and their new LLC Lake Collective Hospitality. Turns out Harv and Corley were pocketing cut silent board members in on it too. When the dust settles, criminal trial, video evidence, neighbors testifying, Harv gets 3 years, Corley 2. Knox gets restitution. The notary loses her license. Civil case, I get full restoration. Triple damages, attorney fees. Associations forced to fund homeowner rights education for 5 years. Bo becomes board president, reverses fines, leads a workday, sanding railings and eating pie at my table. New rules, no entry without consent past 98%. My house, my kitchen, my canoe back the way it's supposed to be. On the morning Harv reported for jail, I took my canoe out on the waterhouse, finally quiet again. You want to know about justice? If you ever pull up and see a valet on your porch, don't just grumble, draw the line. Call the right people and don't stop until house means house owner means owner, and amenity means dock, not hotel. What would you do if your HOA tried to hijack your home? Let me know below. And hey, if you believe in standing up for what's yours, hit subscribe and share your story. This is what real ownership looks like. See you next time, friends.